Yes, indeed. Welcome into another episode of Total Hockey Now here on the Total Hockey Now YouTube channel. That over there is at Ant Rivera 86, and all the way down the aisles at Fuzzy Chris 91. I am at Pucking Thoughts Adam Bernard. We got a jam-packed show today. We're going to do goalie tiers to wrap up that series that we've been doing position by position. We'll talk a little Vezina picks here as well, since we're talking netminders anyway. And then we're so jam-packed because we also have to do our draft lottery for the our league draft on Saturday night that we're only going to do a 10-team mock today. I know some people will be like, oh, nobody does 10-team mocks. Plenty of people do. The good news is Saturday's a 12-team mock. We just did a 12-team mock last week. So please head over to our YouTube page if you're not already liked and subscribed. You can find those videos there. From our previous mock drafts, we have 10s, 12s, and 14s. And then we will do one more mock next week because we have a chance to before the season starts. That'll be a 14-teamer. But 10-teamer today, 12-team real deal on Saturday, and then a 14-teamer before the season begins following week. Okay, we're almost here. Preseason hockey's in full swing. We're pretty much here, guys. Nice.
Our draft on Saturday. I can't wait. That's going to be live streamed. That's going to be so much fun. And look, we got you covered. Whatever draft you do, 14, 10 team. We've done 4 teams before. We got everything covered on this show. That's why this is the place to be. And if you see, all of us understood the assignment and are wearing black shirts today. So
yes.
Good day.
And me and you also got a little bit of red going there too.
A little red. A little red.
I have no red. No red. This
we did not plan this. This is actually pretty funny now that I'm looking. Oh man, we got Eddie Wu in the chat. Oh, what is up? What's up, THN crew? Good to have you in the house. Please comment, talk, all that good stuff. But we're so jam-packed. We should probably just get right down the brass tacks here. Let's talk goalie tiers here. And as you know, we've been doing our goalie tier rankings here. We did the centers, we did the defensemen, we did the left wings, we did the right wing. This is the one position where there's not going to be any, multi-position eligibility. It's just a straight 1 through 25 via Yahoo's at top 25 ADP. And we are talking from a fantasy perspective. Although with the goaltenders, you get a little bit more of a true assessment because there's only 32 starting jobs in the league. So we're taking the top 20. It's not like center, left wing, right wing, where there's so many. And it's like, it depends on the size of the pool you're using. This will be a little more accurate here in terms of how we feel. Frank also checking in. Can't wait for the draft on Saturday. Frank lost to somebody in the finals. You guys will have to remind me who that was, who the champ is. But nonetheless, you see on the screen here, we have Connor Hellebuck as the leading off the S tier. No problems with any of that. It's just the question is he in a class by himself, like we discussed with Cale Makar, or are we throwing a Vasilevsky and a Jake Ottinger, maybe a Shesterkin in there with him, or are we leaving him by himself?
I'm putting Vasilevsky and Ottinger in there. I don't think there's enough of a separation from him to Vasilevsky and or Ottinger. I think their numbers are going to be close. They're all workhorses. They're all, if you get a chance to get one of those three, you're in a very good spot. So even like I would say maybe the goalie's got the best team in front of him would probably be Ottinger, but Connor Hellebuck is elite. He can do it by himself. And Vasilevsky is, he is the tradition of a workhorse. He and Connor Hellebuck are workhorses. They're going to play upwards of 60 games this year. They have to be together.
Now, Hellebuck and Ottinger did not go north of 60. He played 58. Vasilevsky and Hellebuck also, they both went north of 60. It was 58, so it's right there. He is playing the bulk of them. So difference is probably negligible there. What do you think?
I'm going to leave Hellebuck on his own. Okay. He had about 9 more wins than Vasilevsky and gave up 9 less goals as well. So I think he's on his own here, but barely. Vasilevsky is definitely up there, but I think that A would start Vasilevsky and Ottinger on their own. And this guy's won Vezina 2 years in a row. I mean, forget about what he does in the playoffs because that doesn't matter here.
Correct.
Fantasy-wise, regular season-wise, Connor Hellebuck is top tier above all to me right now.
Now, what makes me want to lean towards what Chris is saying is maybe the recipe for Hellebuck here is He's played what? The last couple of years, he's played 64 games last year. He played 63, 60, 64, 66. And this guy keeps wearing down in the playoffs. Maybe the recipe, he doesn't play 63 games. He plays maybe a 58, a 59 like Jake Ottinger did last year. So to me, if the
Bobrovsky like recipe where he's okay during the regular season, then the postseason is his deal.
So, well, I part of me does want to put Hellebuyck in a tier by himself. I think you could put Vasilevsky with him and then maybe put Jake Ottinger to start the A tier. But again, it's so close. It's either, to me, you're putting all those three together or you're separating Hellebuyck. So you got a decision to make here.
Listen, I've made my case here. I mean,
obviously it's 2-1, so you have to put them now.
All right. So
and I think, to me, if you're putting Vasilevsky up there, then Ottinger would have to go as well, because I think they are close. I think those two are closer than Hellebuyck, Vasilevsky.
This is a fantastic start. We can't agree on the three.
And we haven't even talked about Igor Shesterkin, who probably also is like right bordering on that tier. And I think we'll talk about more about him later. But how about this? We split the difference. We put Vasilevsky with Hellebuyck, and then Jake Ottinger is a strong start to the A tier. Are we okay with that?
I can live with that.
Because they're both workhorses. But
you could take it up with Jake Ottinger personally at that point if he calls. And he's like, hey, why am I not in the S tier? And you can be like, well, we split the difference. Fine.
Because of the team in front of him, we'll count that in because he does probably have the best team in front of him. Okay, fine.
You're welcome, Jake.
Fine. And that means that Shesterkin has to lead off the A tier, no?
That's fair. That's fair.
Yes.
I'm okay with that.
Okay. So again, will be a little bit more of a true ranking here. Since we're doing 25 out of 32, we'll say. All right. So on the list there, in ADP, next up would be actually before him would be Mackenzie Blackwood, because Blackwood is fourth in ADP, Shesterkin with the fifth average. So I got no problem putting Blackwood there. He played 54% of the starts that he got once of the games he was available to Colorado once he was acquired by the Sharks there. And I factored in what Wedgwood did too. So I'm very okay putting him in the A tier. They may even give him a couple of more starts, maybe get him a little bit closer to 50, maybe like a 48-50 start error. And I'm okay with that. He's got a very good team in front of him.
Yeah, I can live with that. If you're going to go that route, that's more than fine.
All right. So we're through 5 goalies here. Now we're looking at from a fantasy perspective again. Who else belongs in this A tier here? Are we saying Ilya Sorokin and a bounce back? Are we talking about Sergei Bobrovsky? What we worry about maybe a reduced workload for him to a certain degree this year. Who else are you putting in this A tier with Blackwood and Shesterkin?
Listen, this is going to sound like it's following the pace of everything else that you've been watching a lot of, but I'm going to go to bat here for Philip Gustafsson, and for a couple of reasons here. Not because he is in Minnesota, though that does help, but that team was decimated by key injuries, and their blue line is nothing extraordinary, but he still put up really good numbers last year. He did more than what I think people give him credit for. He is also in a contract year. I think he's 27 or something, 26, 27. This is his opportunity to get paid, to get absolutely paid with the salary cap increasing. So he's making peanuts. He can easily triple his salary. He has a good team in front of him, right? Guys that are there and Spurgeon. Brock Faber took a year back, maybe offensively, but defensively, it was still good. There are pieces there that can help. The Minnesota Wild as well are a good two-way hockey team. Yes, they have players who could pound the back of the net, but Joel Eriksson Ek is a good two-way player. Marco Rossi as well is a good two-way player. This is a good team. So the only thing that hurts him is he's got to play in that absolute gauntlet of a Central Division. Like, that's the only thing that slows him down. I mean the three goalies we have up there. Yeah, the 3 goalies ahead of him all play in the same division as him. So, like, that may be there. But to me, he is an A-tier goalie. And he's going to get forgotten, and his ADP does him no justice. But because you listen here, you know this now. Now you know. We know how goalies are. They're voodoo. We understand as well how players get paid contract years. It's not a myth, right? It's not a myth. It's fact.
Anthony, you're a guy that sometimes targets Gustafsson. Are you okay with putting him in the A tier?
Yes, I believe in him more than I would Mackenzie Blackwood, and that's just maybe Mackenzie Blackwood's coming into his own now, but what I saw from him, I just think that he is doing so well because of the team he's on, and maybe that counts for something in fantasy. I don't know. I'm a little worried about taking him in drafts, just because of his past and staying healthy and stuff like that, where I would rather go for a Philip Gustafsson. I feel like there's a couple other guys that I'd rather take ahead of Blackwood. But like we said, because of he's on Colorado right now, I think he deserves to be up there in the season he had last year. So Gustafsson, fine for me, having him in that tier.
I'm not worried about taking Blackwood. I just don't want to take him as high as he's been going in drafts. I don't want to pay that cost. He's usually, like I said, he's usually the fourth goalie off the board. He's usually going somewhere in that third, early fourth round, maybe. I don't want to pay that for him when I know I can get other guys, even Shesterkin around the same spot as well. Something. All right. So far, so good. Anybody else that belongs in the A tier here?
Oh, I mean, I feel like it's hard to say no to Aiden Hill. Just because the team that he plays on kind of makes a lot of sense. And like, I would feel comfortable, I guess, finishing the A tier with Sorokin. Like, the problem with Sorokin is he's a good goalie on just a below average team. And his team does him no favors. They're terrible on the penalty kill. They were terrible on the power play. But, I don't know. Maybe something changes. Good goalie, just on an absolutely miserable hockey team.
But I think they've bottomed out, and I think they'll be better this year. I think he'll be better this year. And this was a guy that was going third, amongst goalies last year around this time. So yeah. I'm fine with closing the A tier there. I'm fine with Aiden Hill there. That does mean Darcy Kemper probably. Well, before we move on, what about Bobrovsky? Are we putting him in the A tier as well? Or because we worry about a reduced workload, perhaps he leads off the B tier? I might still put him at the end of the A tier.
I am worried about his reduced workload. I do think this team will try not try to ease him in, but like there's only so much hockey you can play, right, before your body starts to collapse. And again, here's a player as well, contract year for him, but he's aging, right? He's not getting any younger. He's not a spring chicken anymore. So
I think he leads off B, and as someone who personally traded for him to try to turn around my hopes last season, he didn't really add much, and he had more bad games than he had good. He gave up a lot of goals in a lot of the games that I really needed help in. So regular season Bobrovsky is not A tier for me.
All right, so B tier leads. We lead off the B tier with Bobrovsky. You're not going to get an argument from me there for all the things we've just discussed. Listen, I know we expect a regression from Darcy Kemper, but he still produced really strong numbers. He plays again behind a team that's very defensive-minded. I'm okay with him being in that B tier there. I know Chris is probably going to have something to say about this, but I don't think you could put him in the C tier. Not yet.
I mean, listen, he's got Joel Edmondson, Brandon Dumoulin, and Cody Ceci in front of him. He's going to realize really quick that this is not the LA Kings of last season. And again, we know his health history. We know that he is a ticking time bomb. So if you drafted him last year, you got him at a discount. He overperformed. Like, soak it in. You know what I mean? You did well. The problem is where he's going right now at his current ADP. I'm not getting locked into that, especially with some of these goalies that are still on that board. He's agree. Now in a convert. Like, you know what I mean? Like, if you're flirting between Bobrovsky and Kemper, you understand the assignment. Like one goalie is good, and the other one outperformed his ADP. That's it.
And the thing with Kemper too is like last year, and everybody recalls I was big on him, and that paid off. But like I'm getting off the train. I'm getting off at the next stop. I'm not expecting a repeat of that. But I think because of what he did last year, I don't know if we can necessarily drop him because of all the other things going on there with the Kings. And I understand the blue line, and it's Anton Forsberg behind him, so he's going to get whatever reps he wants. So we'll see how they use him. But I'm okay, even if he's towards the back of the B tier. Who else belongs in this B tier that's left on this list here? Are we making an argument for Anthony Stolarz in the B tier, playing in Toronto Now with Joseph Wall taking a personal leave of absence from the team, who knows how long he's going to be out. So maybe that increases his value a little bit there. I'm definitely putting a Dustin Wolf there based on what he did last year. If Calgary plays even a little bit better, that's there. I think that helps his value, but definitely a B tier guy. Are we throwing a Jacob Markstrom in there, or because they're going to probably split the workload between him and Jake Allen, or at least have a little bit of a closer share there? Is he more in the C tier of that result? What do you think?
I think that Markstrom is going to get more of the playing time because he's also on a contract year.
Okay.
So he's probably, I know he's 36, but with a team that's in the hopes of making a deeper run in the playoffs this year, if they could stay healthy and with the defense lining up the way it is, if they could sign Luke Hughes already, I think that Markstrom should probably be in this B tier, and maybe Stolarz as well for the start because, like you said, he's going to get more of the playing time. I don't know how that unless you're getting a tandem with Stolarz as well. That'll be a big thing for a lot of fantasy players as well, between even the Devils and Toronto. That's something to look into as well.
I think Stolarz is legit. I mean, he was the better goalie in Toronto last year, and it wasn't close. And then he got hurt, and then you saw how that team kind of, struggled a little bit, lost its way. I think he's a good goalie. I think maybe it just took him a minute to get to where it is, but now that he's here, right? Like, he was very good with a very below average defense in front of them. And yes, the Leafs still have a below defense. Yes, they lost Mitch Marner. They didn't really, replace him per se. But I mean, I think he can still return value on in that B tier. It wouldn't shock me if he had a really good year. It wouldn't.
Yeah, listen, I'm very okay with putting Stolarz in that tier because, like we said, even Cole going to be out for who knows how long, and he, like you said, he was a better goalie last year. So I re-ranked the B tier a little bit. We definitely agree on leading off with Bobrovsky. We're going to bump Stolarz up to right behind him. Wolf, Kemper, Markstrom. Would you change anything here in the B tier?
We still adding to it? Yeah.
Okay, so who else belongs in this B tier? Because to me, we're getting close. I mean, maybe Logan Thompson.
That's what I was going to say. Logan deserves to be there.
Okay, so that's who's going to close off the B tier. We'll say.
I think so.
It's about as close as you can get. Yeah.
So how many starts did Charlie Lindgren have last year? Because when we talked about goalie handcuffs, we said this was an essential one. Lindgren started 38 games last year. So to me, that's why I think you can't put Thompson any higher than anybody else in the B tier right now. But would you move Markstrom above Kemper?
I would.
Okay.
Kemper is a C goalie, but we've agreed collectively that he is in the B category.
He's earned his keep for this year.
He did enough last year to, yeah, exactly. All right, so let's go to the C tier now. Let's see who's leading off the C tier. I would maybe see like a Jordan Binnington or a Linus Ullmark. Who would you say is the lead off of the C tier?
UC Saros.
Really?
He's got nobody to challenge him for that spot, and the Predators were just so terrible. Like, they can't be that bad twice, right? Like, he wasn't the issue. That team had a lot of other issues. And maybe it took a full year for all of them to gel. So he's got nobody challenging his spot. He's going to play, and kind of like Gustafsson, he's just in that division that's just an absolute gauntlet. So it might be tough at times, but he's going to play those games, and he's going to get the opportunity. And if his team can do him some favors, I think he's going to be okay. He didn't just fall off the face of the earth, right? Listen, Nashville didn't trade, right, Askarov away and then turn around a couple years later and go, yeah, by the way, I mean, Saros is terrible. No, I can't. Like, they're pot committed to him now. Get him on the ice. Play better in front of him. This is a team thing more than it is a UC Saros thing.
Fair. But of the three goalies that he's with, he's the one that did not go to the playoffs last year. And if you're talking about workload and not having to worry about somebody eating into it, are you really worried about Levi Marilainen eating into Olmark's workload? Are you really worried about Joel Hofer leading into Binnington's workload? I don't know. I don't know if I'm really too concerned in those two instances either about those guys.
Linus Ullmark's on a bad team. Let's not get it twisted. Like,
all right,
the Ottawa Senators are not good. Like, yes, they snuck in, good for them. But like, I remember when I'm old enough to remember when people thought Linus Ullmark was going to win 40 games last year, and then we came back down to reality. And there's just too many. The Ottawa Senators exceeded certain expectations in certain spots. Their power play was red hot. They got going a little bit in certain players, but this is still a team. Their core is basically the same. They haven't gotten it done. And if you believe everybody else in the Atlantic continues to get better, the Ottawa Senators didn't. This is a status quo team at best. They'll hit you, but goals matter.
All right, I'm comfortable putting him behind Saros, but I would still put Binnington ahead of Saros. That would be my preference there. But I agree. Saros is an excellent, low risk, high reward if Nashville can get their act together. Frank checking in earlier, Blackwood should be on B tier because he has to prove himself in back-to-back years, in my opinion. I agree. Like, don't get me wrong. He played very well. He was playing well with the Sharks. He was playing well behind that decrepit blue line that is a little bit better this year. We're not going to really talk about the Sharks today because Askarov not in the top 25 of ADP right now, but that's a guy maybe as a late round in a 14-team league or maybe even a 12-teamer worth like your last or penultimate pick. So we got our C tier here. Anybody else that we're going to throw into the C tier? We got Jeremy Swayman. We've got Joey Decord, Karel Vemelka, Lucas Dostal, Samuel Montembeault, Thatcher Demko. Or are these all D tier goalies?
I would put Demko in C, no?
With health. That's the reason why I hesitate. I agree. He would be a B tier goalie if he could stay healthy. But
I would put Vemelka in there.
Okay.
I think with them, releasing or putting on waivers Connor Ingram, like like that's his net now, right? Sometimes you were fearful of like it being a split. Now it's basically Utah saying, "Hey, this is your net. Figure it out." He's probably going to get a ton of opportunity. Just how legit are the are the Mammoth though? Like, can they take that step? But we'll find out pretty quick.
Now, all right. So far, I'm comfortable with everything we've got there.
Is it me? Are we missing Askarov on here? I don't see San Jose on here.
Well, he's not top 25 ADP. So of goaltenders.
Okay, got you.
So yeah, that's why he's not here. But like I said, maybe a late round pick that you can, if you're in a 12 or a 14 team league, that second to last round or that last round pick, need a third goalie, you can maybe get a little value there. Now, I want to talk about two guys here before we move on to official D tier. Samuel Montembeault, are you putting him in the C tier, Chris? I want to hear it from you if we don't put him in.
He could probably finish it off. There's a couple of things that worry me. One, I mean, he is a workhorse, but he shouldn't be. I don't think he should be playing as many games as he played last year. And the Montreal Canadiens are still a young team. This is a young blue line. This is a young team in general. Like, the growing pains are still going to be there. It might be better, but I don't know. I would feel comfortable with it. If you're going to get the volume out of Samuel Montembeault and you spot start him correctly, the problem is he's not like, he can't be your number one goalie. He's probably a 2 when you need a handcuff or a backup to kind of get those starts in where you need them. And Montreal, a team that their shot volume has never been good. They have given up. Like, Montembeault on some nights had to stand on his head and make 40+ saves, right? And it's good when it hits, but when it goes south quick, then you're caught, right? He could give up 3 goals on 5 shots. That's the end of his night.
Montembeault has been a guy where in drafts where I've gotten Shesterkin, like I've been targeting. Binnington's usually the guy I target for goalie too, but if there's a run or I miss out on him, Montembeault is my backup for my goalie too. So I agree. He's a strong goalie too. Obviously, we're not talking about him as a goalie 1. If he has a goalie 1 at that point, maybe you might need to make a trade. Now, I'll put Demko at the end because he's got the worst team in front of him. But, if he stays healthy and Vancouver plays well, that could be a value return there. So we're on to the D tier. But we do have an opinion. I think Peter Kochetkov should finish off the C tier. I know there's a tandem with Freddie. We all know he'll be injured at some point. And that's the thing. We're talking about a Carolina Hurricanes that we expect them to probably be one of the final 4 teams of the Eastern Conference, potentially could make a run at the Stanley Cup. And yet here we are talking about their goalie leading off the D tier or closing off the C tier because Freddie Anderson can't stay healthy. So if you get 30 games out of him, you're lucky. And Kochetkov, I think, maybe he turns it around this year, but for the first half of the season, he was playing well. He really was. I had shares of him. And then the second half of the season, it just did not look good for him. So maybe I'm snake bitten on wanting to put him at the end of the C tier. And it's crazy to me that the Hurricanes are such a good team, but we're talking about their goaltenders as a borderline C or D tier guys. But I'm open to what you guys think here on Kochetkov. Should he lead off D tier, close the C tier?
He can lead off the D tier. He can't be a C tier goalie. He's not the starter. He's not the starter. So
he's going above Freddie Anderson ADP though.
Sure, but Freddie Anderson is he's gonna play as many, if Carolina plays him correctly and keeps him healthy, he's fine, right? He's good when he plays. That's the problem. He doesn't play enough. And you would think that one of those two Carolina go, especially Kochetkov, because he could take over that role. And he's got to the Carolina Hurricanes, for all we talk about, some of their players that we can't take in fantasy offensively because they're restricted on how they play. That's because they're so good defensively as well. And everything is structured around playing correctly, the Rob Brendamore style. So Kochetkov should explode once he gets the opportunity. And it's just he's not there. There's too much inconsistency in his game. He's a low end second goalie. He's probably Freddie Anderson's handcuff. That's where he is right now.
But Freddie Anderson's his handcuff.
Mix it. I feel like whoever gets him or Freddie, you're cuffed to take him. You have to take both.
They'd be a good ABC tandem.
Correct. And then once Freddie Anderson ends up on IR, then you go out and you see, what you can get kind of thing. But I feel like you have to draft 2 goalies for 1 spot. And I don't know if you want to carry 4 goalies in anything less than a 12-team league. It doesn't make sense.
All right. So we're going to have him lead off the D tier. I'm going to rank how I would do the remaining people to close out the D tier here. I would put Dostal second, Swayman third. I think Swayman himself will have a decent year. He's just going to have a miserable team in front of him. If David Pastrnak gets hurt, forget about the Bruins season. And then I guess I would go Skinner 4 because of the potential that maybe he finally gets it going there, and then Decord to close it out amongst the top 25. I've spoke about this in the past with getting Dostal as my third goalie in some leagues. I think with Joel Quenneville coming to town, listen, you can say what you want about the Ducks overall not being a good team, but they are improved over last year. They do have a better team in front of them. He is going to be the guy. Mrazek is there as a insurance, and he will get his starts. But I think that is a pretty good way to do the tier.
I think that's fair. I mean, you could swap him and Dostal and Swayman just because, I understand that Boston's awful, but Swayman at least he's going to be starting and at least give you, his stats at the very least. But I think this is fine. I'm not arguing any of that bottom line.
Okay.
Stuart Skinner has the best shot of missing
wins.
Well, he's got the best chance of losing his job early. If this team doesn't get off to a good start, that's they're gonna roll Calvin Pickard, and that's a mess.
All right, so there we go. So here's our D tier. I'm going to run through them quickly, and then we're going to talk Vezina picks quickly before we get to our mock draft here in just about 5 minutes. I'll put that link in the chat in a second. But here we go. So we're going to run through it. The S tier is Hellebuck, Vasilevsky, Ottinger. Your A tier is going to be Igor Shesterkin, Philip Gustafson, Kenzie Blackwood, Aiden Hill, Ilya Sorokin. The leading off the B tier is going to be, Sergei Bobrovsky, Anthony Stolars, Dustin Wolf, Jacob Markstrom, Darcy Kemper, and Logan Thompson. Leading off your C tier is Jordan Binnington, UC Saros, Linus Olmark, Karel Vejmelka, and Samuel Montembeau. And then Thatcher Demko closing out that tier. And finally, Kochetkov, and then Dostal, Swayman, Skinner, and Joey Decord. So that closes out your D tier there. So take one last look at that. We will post the pictures of all of them when we get a chance after on for all the tiers. We are going to talk a little Vezina trophy odds here in a second. Let's as we get ready for the upcoming mock draft here in about a few minutes. Let's talk Vezina odds here. And look at your screen. Hellebuck plus 310, Igor Shesterkin plus 650, Vasilevsky plus 750, Jake Ottinger 15-1, Dustin Wolf 15-1, Logan Thompson 18-1, Darcy Kemper 19-1, Sergei Bobrovsky also at 19-1, Ilya Sorokin 20-1, Jacob Markstrom 20-1, Anthony Stolars and Philip Gustafson and Blackwood all 27-1, Binnington at 35-1, and then you see a bunch of guys at 40-1, Saros, Hill, Swayman, Dostal, Montembeault, and Demko. So there's your guys for the Vezina Trophy. Who's somebody you're going to consider taking here? For me, I'll give my pick first. It's Igor Shesterkin, and I think with the addition of Gavrikov on that blue line, Adam Fox will be a much better defenseman. I think the Rangers last year at the deadline, they focused on beefing up that blue line and being a little bit tougher to play against back there. I think that helped Shesterkin. I think Sullivan, new coach, new voice, all that stuff. So that's my pick on the left side, and I've been on that for a while, and there's no reason to get off of it.
I mean, it's really hard to bet against Connor Hellebuck, right? Like that I feel like is like that's a tough one to swallow. I don't think anybody on the right side has a legitimate chance, unfortunately. Not at least now. I think maybe they give it to somebody else, right? Maybe they I don't know. Maybe Vasilevsky is a good opportunity to win it, right? Vasilevsky is definitely more than capable of it. Jake Ottinger as well. Maybe the longest shot, I'd give it to Ottinger in that case, but that's where, or maybe even Sergei Bobrovsky, depending on the numbers that he puts up.
I can't get on board with Bobrovsky because I think the reduced workload, as good of a team as Florida is going to have in front of them, I can't do that. Other guys on the left, I would consider, the guys at the top. But looking at the right side, you guys talked about, Philip Gustafson, Anthony Stolars, man. Those odds have stayed the same at 27-1. That's there before the Joseph Ball news, and it's still like that over a FanDuel. So if you are thinking Anthony Stolars is going to wow everybody, that's probably the best number you're going to get. So go get it right now. Where were you going to take Stolars?
I was definitely going to take Stolars at the 27-1 on the right side, but if I'm picking from the left side, I'm going with Ottinger.
And I'm putting in the chat right now for anybody that wants to get into the draft, mock draft sign up time. It's in the main chat there in the comments. If anybody wants to get one of those last remaining spots there, I see 5 remaining spots. That draft to go in about 5 minutes there, probably closer to 7 by the time we get to the beginning of the the waiting period there. But nonetheless, plenty of time to discuss the rest of the Vezina stuff here. Here's the thing: if you look at the Vezina Trophy winners from the last 6 years, what do they all have in common? They all were on very good teams in front of them. Arguably top 4, top 5 teams in the league. You very rarely see a guy win that's why like a Dustin Wolf at 15-1. I don't think Calgary is going to be that good. Maybe they become a wild card team. Maybe they sneak in that way. As strong as he was last year for a rookie of the year, different story. But for him to have a campaign on a Calgary Flames team that, it might be a wild card team. I don't know how that gets votes over, the top 4 on the left side. Logan Thompson, if he gets a bigger workload, if the Capitals are still up there, that's another guy to consider. Yeah, on the guys on the right, if you think all of a sudden Colorado is going to make Blackwood a workhorse, that's a guy you can consider. But outside of that, there's really nobody else.
At 27-1, though, I'd take Blackwood first, Gustafson second, and then Stolars third. Okay.
So Colorado being the bet. Why Gustafson over Stolars, though? Because it is voted on. And let's face it, Toronto gets a little bit more attention. I'm being facetious when I say little over the Minnesota Wild, no matter how good they are, even though it is the state of hockey. I know how popular hockey is in that state, but just from a national or a continental, we'll say, because it's 2 countries perspective, Leafs tend to get a little more attention and love than the Minnesota Wild.
That's fair. I don't know, man. Maybe I'm just too bullish on him, but in a good situation with the squad that they got there, the defense is not bad, right? Toronto's defense is bad. I don't care who tries to convince me otherwise. Their defense is not good. And that could be a problem. As much as this is an individual award, this is a team award as well. And maybe they win a bunch of games. The reason I think Blackwood could win it, what if he wins 45 games this year, right? Colorado is certainly capable of winning games. And sometimes it's not necessarily the numbers, right? We know people vote on this, but they vote on it They're not going to look at goals saved above expected, even though they should, or high danger scoring chances, which again, they should. They may look at wins in the same way that they used to look at Martin Jones and give him consideration when his numbers were terrible. So, I mean, I just think that there is some team aspect that plays to this. And of those three teams between Colorado, Minnesota, and Toronto, in that order, that's best to worst.
Now, Ant mentioned earlier about how Markstrom's in a contract year, and maybe the Devils just, not to say you can't treat him like a workhorse because that's a recipe for disaster, but maybe they push him a little bit there. If he has a lights out campaign, Jack Hughes stays healthy, of the entire season, there's an argument to be made there at 20-1. Maybe not so much Sorokin because, the team in front of him is obviously not going to be nowhere near as good, even if he's going to have better numbers. But yeah, again, for me, it's, it's really tough to go against any of the top four guys on the left. So for me, Shesterkin is my pick, but my long shot, I would go with Blackwood of the 27-1 guys and Stolar second. That would be, how I'd rank it.
I also don't think they want to push Markstrom that far. Like you brought in, you still have Jake Allen there, and he proved that he was capable. There's no reason to push him at to the extent that he needs to. He's also 36. Like there's no need to run his body into the ground for no reason. They have that. It may not be a 50-50 split, but I don't think they'll hesitate to start Allen like once a week or every third game kind of thing, right? I don't think
maybe no less than 60-40, you'd think, or 65-35, something like that.
60-40 is probably going to be the realm, and maybe ask Markstrom how he feels. Jake Allen has been a backup before. Like, he understands his role, he understands how he needs to play it, and I mean,
and he did well last year.
And he chose to be back in New Jersey, so obviously they were able to convince him and say, hey, look, he could have gone out, gotten more money, paid, probably could have started for the Oilers. But he decided he wanted to be in New Jersey, and he's comfortable with the situation there. So I can't imagine them not giving him more than enough starts to make him happy.
All right, boys. That's it. Next week we will do Hart Trophy odds and Calder Trophy odds. So we'll do those last two awards because we covered a couple of awards much earlier in the summer. Then we went to tiers, and now we're back to trying to finish off the awards. So we'll do those two next week. Also, next week we're going to do a 14-team mock draft because we're doing our real deal 12-teamer on Saturday night today. Because I knew we'd be running a little bit long, we decided to go with a 10-teamer to throw one more out there for the people that are in 10-team leagues. We got less than a minute here before the draft room opens, and about 2 minutes before first pick. And you see who's going there. Pat's first, Nate's second, Zach third, our boy Ant Rivera 86 fourth, Ian fifth, Chris sixth, Steven seventh, Bob eighth, Andy ninth. And I'm going with the turn in a 10-team league. Oh, baby, that's like shooting fish in a barrel. Give me that 10 pick there. Give me that turn. Here's the other thing. We were in another draft, but it wasn't going to work out. And there was another Adam in there. And I'm like, no, I don't want to have two Adams. So he's like more than one Adam. He's like, you know what? This isn't going to work. Back us out. No, we got to get out of here. There we go. So we're getting the draft board ready. Continue presenting there. Let's get that off the screen. I remember the show. I'm ready to go here. And like I said, we'll have one more mock after today, but it's our last one before Saturday. So, last chance to, get an
honestly,
idea.
The best time of the year. I love this. I love mock draft season. And obviously, we've gotten such a great following that everybody loves it too. So thanks to everyone for tuning in. Thank you. Yes, Total Hockey Now on YouTube or on X. Also, if you want to reach out to the show, totalhockeynow@gmail.com. So there we go. Looking at the, let's see here. Any other comments we got to catch up on as we wait here for the next minute 40? Let's see. So Ed also in the chat, he asks, is it too late to join the draft on Saturday? Right now, all the 12 teams are there, but if we have an absentee owner, we will throw it out for people to fill in there. But right now, we are full up with everybody that played in the league last year. As we got a minute and a half to go here before we kick off our 11th. I can't believe we're at mock draft 11. It feels like just like yesterday. We were back on ESPN doing the mocks over there. And while we crap on their mocks, we do appreciate them for like the 4 or 5 weeks we need to use them.
We do. We appreciate their effort until we can go anywhere else that's better than them.
I mean, the rankings are just wacky sometimes.
Yeah, it is.
Especially
but again, like, round of applause, ESPN, for at least having it there. So
We needed some time to get ourselves situated and play a couple of rounds, and it sufficed for the few weeks that we needed it for.
Those were some of the best teams though I put together because their rankings are so over the place. Those are guaranteed winners.
And it's a forward defenseman format, so it changes them entirely. Like, you know, the ADPs of some guys. So here we go. We are 30 seconds away from our last 10-team mock of the season. Again, we'll have our 12-team draft for real Saturday, 8 o'clock Eastern, 5 o'clock Pacific. And next week's the last Thursday edition of Total Hockey Now before the regular season starts. So we'll do a 14-team mock. We'll look at those Hart Trophy and Calder odds, and maybe we'll give, you know, some Stanley Cup final picks. Why not? Because that's what you're supposed to do on these things. And then we'll shift to in-season mode coming up on October 9th. So we're staying on Thursday, same time, same place, 5:30 Pacific Eastern, 2:30 Pacific is when we will begin our picks and preview for the night. 5 o'clock will be when we do the fantasy segments, headlines, all that other stuff. But the draft is underway. Connor McDavid, of course, first overall pick. Nathan McKinnon, second. Leon Draisaitl, third. So far, nothing crazy there. McKinnon going over Draisaitl is pretty common. So we'll see what happens there. I spoke about my preference for Draisaitl and over McKinnon just because he's got that left wing eligibility, but really splitting hairs. As Ant gets ready to make his pick here and takes Nikita Kucherov.
Yeah, it was a tough decision between him and Cale Makar, but
that guarantees me one or the other.
It does.
That's why Chris takes 6 because he's happy.
It does. It's right there. I know. There it is. You know, somebody. I did have to make a choice here. Ian helped me out, but there's no way I am passing on my boy Cale right here. Ain't no way.
So if he gets Boldy later, that'll be almost as good as a Kaprizov Makar pairing. And
the Makar Boldy pairing is the Kaprizov Makar of last year. That's as close as I can get to perfection.
There we go. Okay. And David Pastrnak goes after Makar. So far, everything going as expected, along with Austin Matthews going 8th overall, Connor Hellebuck 9th overall. Now, I'm at the turn here at 10. So my first pick's going to be, of course, Mikko Rantanen, because I've said if he's there at 10, doesn't matter what league you're in, you know, 10, 12, 14, he's the guy there. Now, it's not going to be as long in a 10-team draft, but there is going to be a lot of time before I get a chance to really get a cornerstone defenseman. So as much as I would love to take a Nylander, Brady Tkachuk, or even maybe look at a goaltender or a Jack Eichel, I got to take Quinn here. That's fine. I'll start. That's a good pairing to begin as we come back to Andy on the clock at pick 2-2.
You didn't want to wait on defense. That's good.
I can't, even in a 10-team, in an 8-team league, if we were doing an 8-team draft, then yeah, maybe I'd roll the dice and try and bulk up at forward a little bit more. But because it's going to be a lot, 20 picks before it gets back to me. So there'll definitely be a few guys off the board by then.
Just a couple.
So Bob decides to go Matthews, JT Miller with his pairing. Andy takes Brady Tkachuk after getting Hellebuck at 9th overall. And now Steven back on the clock here as he's going to see who he takes with David Pastrnak. William Nylander, listen, these are the guys, you know, there has been nothing sexy about this draft in terms of like somebody reaching or like anything like that. Everybody's going right about where they belong. Jack Eichel goes to Chris, and listen, Makar Eichel, that's pretty damn good.
So far, so good. I don't want to jinx it, so I'm not going to say it, but so far, so good.
So Ian on the clock here, he took Kaprizov at 5th overall instead of Makar, and he goes Connor. So he's going to listen, and we've talked about this with left wing. You got some good guys there, but when Cliff comes, it drops off quick. I don't mind going back-to-back left wing, Kaprizov, Connor, a 10-team format, and now you don't really got to look at left wing again for a while. And it makes his pick here. He took Nikita Kucherov with his 4th overall pick, and he gets Jake Ottinger. Little like I don't mind that pairing at all there. That's a good start. And then Zach right after him takes Sam Reinert with that right wing eligibility as well as being a center. Nate takes Jack Hughes. So then Braden Point closes out round 1. Mitch Marner opens up round 3 in this 10-teamer. So there. Listen, Marner in the early 3rd round of a 10-teamer. Again, everybody going exactly where they belong. And you took Ottinger over Hughes. Hughes goes 2 picks later. Was there any debate there for you?
No, not really. I'm still hurt with this guy not being healthy. So I decided I was just going to wait on it. And you know what? I'm going to have a little bit of fun here.
There he goes. All right. So we have
I'm done.
So there we
Goalies.
go. He's done. He's done. He says he might grab a, like an Askarov in the last round, but he's done with goalies. He doesn't even have to check that tab. So Mitch Marner opens up round 3, then back-to-back defensemen, Zach Werenski, Rasmus Dahlin, and then Andrei Vasilevsky to Ant. So he's got Kucherov, Ottinger, Vasilevsky, Ian on the clock here. He took Kaprizov and Connor with his first 2 picks. I can't imagine he's going left wing again, but you never know. He's got the right wing eligibility as well, so he could slide over there. But
he really ruined that one for me. Wow.
Chris almost had his as close to a perfect first 3 picks as he's going to get. Now we'll see how salty he gets.
Not too bad. I had a backup plan at this stage, so it was okay.
There we go. So he's going cornerstone anchor defenseman ×2. Mr. Evan Bouchard. Steven back on the clock here, taking Pasternak and Nylander. In a 10-team format, you can get away with, doing things like that a little bit more. There goes Artemi Panarin, Philip Forsberg, Andy on the clock here, as I'm about to come back on the clock, and we'll see what I'm going to do next. I know what I'm going to do as long as I don't get sniped. There goes Alex Ovechkin. So I've pumped.
I think I know what you're going to do.
Pump his tires enough. I got to do it, right?
Yep.
So let's see here.
We saw that one coming.
All right, and here's another one you're going to see coming. Because even though I was looking at maybe Jake Gensel to get in because of the importance of left wing, Tage Thompson is not making it back to me. He's got to be the he's the guy I got to take.
That was very smart. That's you knowing the room. That's good.
In the room, and me being very happy with my team out of the gate.
You were right. He was not coming back.
Wow, Jesper Bratt. I feel like that's a little early for him.
His ADP's been going up because I think people realize he gets overlooked as a devil, but the guy still produces. He's still strong winger, and he's left wing and right wing. So there goes Philip Gustafson.
There
we go. Can't pump his tires and not put him where he needs to be.
There goes Josh Morrissey. So the top tier defenseman, or we'll say the A tier defenseman, starting to go with Anthony on the clock. He's got Kucherov, Ottinger, and Vasilevsky. We'll see if he nabs a defenseman here. Could, but he could also wait. We know he's not going goalie.
Well, hold on.
Who was that guy that just picked all defensemen?
All defensemen to start,
yeah.
He was picking in the 4 slot too. Because we're like, oh, Cale Makar at 4, that's not that much of a reach. And then you take Sidney Crosby there.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm going to go with the Mr. Consistency. And he had about 90 points last year, so.
It's amazing that Sidney Crosby's at a point in his career where he just gets casually taken in the 4th round. He's like a 35, borderline 40 guy. And it's like, yeah. And you know what you're going to get out of him. Good value.
He's going to drag some of his line mates with him.
So after Ant takes Crosby, Zach takes Jake Gensel, Mackenzie Blackwood goes to Nate, and Adam Fox closes out round 4 as we see what Pat does on the swing here to open up round 5. And he gets Ilya Sorokin. He gets his first goaltender. We're in a sharp room today. This draft, it's going pretty as expected, which is, that's where you can maybe see with little deviations. But, nonetheless, everybody doing a damn good job here. So Nate back on the clock here. He's got Mackenzie Blackwood, Zach Werenski, Jack Hughes, Nate McKinnon. So he could go in a lot of directions here. He's not really tied to any one specific position as he gets Brandon Hagel.
Dual position eligibility, Brandon Hagel.
So Ant back on the clock here, fresh off his Sidney Crosby pick. We'll see what he grabs here. And he takes Lane Hudson. So if Chris was hoping to get him, that's not going to happen.
I had to get in on the defenseman. I was kind of hoping Hedman would I got sniped, basically.
Okay.
It happens.
It happens. Ian on the clock here. He's got Josh Mauer. So we got a little sea of green here. As Hedman, Hudson, and Sider all go, and then about 3 picks before Hedman was Adam Fox. So
I'm not waiting. I know I got lucky here. I can see the trend going, but we're gonna take Mackenzie Weegar here.
If you aren't, I was taking him. So
see, I know this room now. I'm getting good.
So Mackenzie Weegar goes 4th defenseman in a row. Steven on the clock here. Let's see. He's got no defenseman yet, so we'll see if he takes one. Same thing for Bob after him and Andy after him. So it could be a lot of green coming up here. Now, I can speak freely if anybody happens to, and then it goes Roman Yossi. So, yeah, I fully plan on trying to take a defenseman here, but I don't know if there's going to be anybody left that I want to grab. Steve, we'll see, though. Stutzla. See here. Andy's on the clock. He could easily go defenseman. He takes Marty Natchez. All right. So no defenseman there, which makes me think that maybe I could take at one of my picks here. Looking at my team, you know what? I haven't been getting this guy a lot. I'm going to certainly be glad to get him at the ADP. I'm getting him. Mr. Macklin Celebrini. And then, you know what? I'm going to wait on defense here. And I'm going to grab another guy that I've been getting a lot of, and I'm not going to pass up an opportunity to get him, is Adrian Kempe. So back-to-back California picks there. Taking Macklin Celebrini and Adrian Kempe. And maybe I'll kick myself, but, you know, there was nobody I felt like I needed to grab as a defenseman there, and I can always double tap later with, you know, a couple of second and third tier guys. We'll see. Nick Suzuki goes after my Kempe pick. Bob takes Cole Caulfield, which is to Chris's chagrin, who I'm sure was considering a few picks from there. Steven back on the clock here after taking Roman Yossi last round.
I had all three of those players, by the way, in some combination. Kempe was, the minute you said I'm not going to let him pass, I knew it was Kempe. Taking Nick Suzuki felt good. Then I scrolled down and see Cole Caulfield, and that didn't happen. So fun. We're having fun. Jake
Sanderson goes. And Connor Bedard's on the board.
Yeah, see how well you know.
Sixth round.
I'm going to go a different route, though. I mean, I'm going to stay. Well,
Clock's ticking, my friend.
Yeah, I'll do it. I'll bite.
Somebody's in the room and not happy with me.
Was it the Celebrini pick or was it the Kempe pick? It was the Kempe one, you know, get in line kind of thing.
So any worry about Vasi hasn't reported to training camp. I think the Tampa Bay Lightning, as talented as they are with guys like Kucherov and Jake Gensel and Braden Point and Anthony Cirelli and on and on and on, they're nothing without Andrei Vasilevsky. I see that getting – I would not worry about that too much. I can't see that dragging on too long.
I'm also not worried. He's a veteran at this point. So whatever you got to do to make sure his body is healthy, that's it. If he doesn't play a single preseason game, I could not care less.
Andre, maybe you'd like to see him get some action in one game just to get the rust off, but he's not a guy I'm concerned about. And again, Tampa knows that they have no shot without him being in the crease 55 times minimum. Speaking of the crease, Aiden Hill goes to Ian after Chris takes Connor Bedard, Mark Scheifele to Ant, Sergei Bobrovsky to Zach, Thomas Harley to Nate, and Pat's going to close up round 6 and open up round 7 after taking Ilya Sorokin to open up round 5. So, Ant, you got, you know, Crosby and Scheifele down the middle. That's about as consistent a pairing of centers you're going to find.
Yeah. Chris took Connor Bedard. I was hoping that would come my way, but I wasn't expecting it. So I had to have a backup in place, and I think Scheifele is just good enough for that.
So Pat decides to go back-to-back goalies there with his 5th and 6th round picks. He grabs Dustin Wolf. So, hey, Sorokin, Wolf. I mean, maybe the wins aren't going to necessarily be there, but you'll definitely get every other category. And then he takes Seth Jarvis to open up round 7, pick 61.
They'll get some wins. It'll just be very inconsistent as to when it happens.
I've got directions I want to go when I'm back on the clock at the end of the round. We'll see how it goes. Not gonna. I know there are people in the room, so I don't want to, tip my hand too much. But one thing we did talk about is how Matthew Tkachuk's ADP would fall. Especially after, he's going to be out for a couple of months. And here he is. We are well into round 7 of a 10-teamer, and he is still sitting on the board with an ADP of 46.1. So that is continuing to go down. He was a guy that I thought they might give nights off here and there just because of how hurt he's been playing the last couple of seasons. I'm curious when somebody says, finally, fine, I'll take him and throw him in one of my IR spots for a little while and hopefully get some real nice value once he returns, maybe Christmas time. Ant makes his pick. He takes Jacob Chikrin. It's his second defenseman there after Darcy Kemper and Lucas Raymond go off the board in the previous picks. Ian up here, he took Aiden Hill and Moritz Seider with his previous picks. Coming up on pick 65 here.
Also, can we talk about having a second Islanders fan in this? Like, I didn't know there was more than one. I thought State of Survival was the only one.
No.
There
The
are more than
Islanders
one
fan
Islander
base
fan.
is strong. It's there. It's just you haven't had a lot to root for over the last 30-ish years. You know, some spots in between, but yeah. And then look, Anthony Stolars goes, Nico Heishier goes. You know, pick 7-6 there.
That's who I wanted instead of Bedard. And I was like, maybe I want, because of the position. Again, the position eligibility there broke it for me. Bedard has right wing eligibility. Nico Heishier doesn't, but people are sleeping on Heishier, man. He's right there.
Listen, I am a big Nico here. I'm as big a Nico Heishier fan as a Ranger fan can be of a Devil player in terms of a fantasy perspective. He's as your second center. I mean, hell, even as a late round first center grab, can't go wrong with that. Barkov goes to pick before mine. I'm on the clock here. I am not going to waste any time grabbing a second defenseman, especially with one of my boys and one of my favorites is on the board, Mikhail Sergachev as my D2. Tempted to go double tap here on defenseman, but I feel like there's going to be a wave of goalies before it gets back to me. I don't know.
You have a goalie yet?
I have
Or
Shesterkin.
you have Shesterkin, yeah.
I'm gonna have to make a pick here. All right, screw it. I'm gonna take Logan Thompson, and then if I have to grab I'm not gonna worry about a handcuff in a 10-team league. But now I can really just let goalie go towards the last rounds of the draft. And yeah, I'm happy with Shesterkin Thompson 1-2. Sebastian Aho goes pick after me. Could have gone too deep. We'll see if there's a sea of green coming up here. If there's a sea of green, I'm going to regret not going 2 defensemen there because I could grab a good goalie 2 later. Maybe a Binnington or a Montembeau gets back to me, but we'll see. Again, he is not happy with the 5th cup push.
He is feeling it. I feel like he is me from a few weeks ago.
Sorry, I'm channeling you. Elias Pettersson going in the 8th round in a 10-teamer, 73rd overall there. I'm fine with that. Jacob Markstrom goes there to Steven. And Jordan Kyrou, that's a strong pick there. I admire that one.
I need somebody to play the wing for me.
Hey, I was kind of hoping Stolars would get to me, but I'm fine with Sergachev there. Ian, let's see what he does here. He's got Stolars as one of his goaltenders and Aiden Hill as the other. So probably not looking at goalie. Doesn't have any centers yet. And there it goes, Dylan Larkin. Again, Larkin and Heishier to me are like, you waited on top line center and you could still get one, but that's like last call for good centers as deep as the position is.
I would have probably taken, if Heishier had gone, then I would have taken Larkin.
There goes Brinkat to Ant there after he gets Chikrin. Noah Dobson goes to Zach at pick 78. 8-8 in this format. So far, it's been everybody's kind of everybody going to where they pretty much belong here. And it's just, we've had some snipes, not happy with it. Let's see what Nate does here. And then he gets Linus Ullmark. So yeah,
great minds think alike. So let's
see here. We are past the halfway point. We are at the halfway point, I should say, of the draft. Travis Konechny goes. Kind of gets an overlooked, forgotten about player there. See what Pat does to open up round 9, pick 81. People have had to think about picks today, so there's definitely everybody knows it's a sharp room. And there goes Matthew Nye. So again, left wingers going here. If you don't have them, it's probably time to start getting on board and getting one. He said to himself.
I just looked at my team and I went, "Oh, I don't have any of those either." Well,
I've got Miko. I'm happy with how my team's coming out. I have no problem with it.
No.
But we'll see how I feel in a few rounds because this is where the draft happens. This is it.
Well, now I have a problem with Nate. So
Mishkov goes after Matthew Nyes. So Zach on the clock here took Noah Dobson last round, and then the round before that, Darcy Kemper, Sergei Bobrovsky getting his goalies locked up, and Victor Hedman and Rasmus Dahlin. So Not a ton of wingers for him. It looks like his blue line and his goalies are locked up. I would expect him. We talked about, left wing starting to go. Might be time to get in. Or yeah, there he goes. He's going to take Matthew Tkachuk there. Listen, in the 9th round, pick 83. Sure. I would probably, if he was still sitting there with my 9th or 10th round picks coming up here, I probably would have taken him with one of them. So Ant's got a decision to make here, and he takes Jackson Lacombe. Not really happy about that. He's a guy I've been targeting as a defenseman. 3.
I think I got a solid defensive core coming in here.
Maybe a little bit of green run here again as Dougie Hamilton goes to pick after him. And listen, you talk about Devils with health issues. You talk about Jack Hughes. It doesn't hurt his draft value really at all, but for Dougie Hamilton, it certainly does. There goes Nikolai Ehlers. So that's good value pick there.
No exposure to Nikolai Ehlers, and I feel like now would be the good time.
He was a guy I was getting more in mock drafts earlier in the summer, but not as much as late. Steven on the clock here, taking Jacob Markstrom. There goes Drake Batherson. And Bob on the clock, he took Elias Pettersson last round. So I'm surprised to see somebody I still really want there. There's 2 guys left on the board that if I got them, I'd be very happy with these 2 picks on the turn. Let's see if I get sniped, though.
Bob's taking a long thought here.
Timo Meyer, listen, this is where you got to make decisions. This is where it's like this guy or this guy is this, who's going to get back. Like, this is whether, to me, this is like the address of won and lost. Okay, so one of the guys I wanted is off the board and Robert Thomas. Seth Jones is a 3rd defenseman. Absolutely sign me up. So there we go. So now I'm feeling good about my blue line, and now I can just kind of go back to drafting the board, taking what the board gives me here. And let's see here. So, there's a couple of left wings I could consider. I got 10 seconds here. I don't mean to do this to you guys. All right. Tomas Hertl. I want to share Vegas's top 6. Let me get in that with Tomas Hertl. Also has left wing eligibility, which is where he's playing on my team. So, and what I'd like to do is I will take, depending upon when that next center comes on my team, that'll push Thompson to the right wing, and I'll be really happy. So, John Tavares goes. Oh, we got breaking news.
Only a 4th time? Damn.
I better watch the mail for death threats.
You both of you have you guys are sharing the board there, I guess.
There goes Andrei Svechnikov after John Tavares, and then me opening up the round with Tomas Hertl.
4 is rookie numbers, though. I remember when I was like much more than that.
I mean, listen, there's still
lots of rounds. I mean, I don't know, man. I'd turn the lights off at this point.
There goes Brandon Montour. So yeah, listen, it gets overlooked in Seattle, but still going to give you a lot of things across the board there. Dylan Gunther, love that pick. We're taking Gunther in the later rounds last year.
I know, great value there. I still think the Mammoth are going to be good. They're going to be good. There just won't be. How can I put this? They'll be good, but some nights they'll be really bad.
I think it's between them and the Blues for that last playoff spot, for the last wild card spot. And takes JJ Peterka, speaking of the Utah Mammoth. There we go. That is a guy that I was also in consideration for me. And if he was there at the 11-12 swing, I absolutely would have taken him. But
I got to get some guys with dual eligibility here. So DeBrincat and Peterka add that. So I'm happy with those 2 guys.
Ant does what he's been doing all year long. Whenever he mocks, he just puts together solid teams quietly, But
I feel like Connor Hellebuck. I have a good, regular season, and then when times to get to the playoffs and the real draft, that's where I fall apart.
Sounds about right. That's probably a good, accurate comparison. Rupe Hintz going to pick after him. So, if you miss out on Rantanen, and this is going to be a first full season with Rantanen and Hintz being together as line mates, you can definitely get some cast-off points there, just like the same way where if you draft like a Matthew Nyes like Pat did in round 9, probably going to get some of those Austin Matthews coattail riding points. He takes Miro Heiskanen to close out round 10. Not a great – listen, in Dallas, Harley's the fantasy defenseman only. Miro Heiskanen, certainly not. He's the second best guy in Dallas, and he's going to be you know what? As a D2, I'm okay with that. That's probably the end of what I'd be comfortable with as a D2. But with Fox being one, and then he takes Nikishin to go with 3. So he double taps defenseman there, and up round 11.
That makes sense.
John Carlson also excellent value to Nate there at the end of it. So with the defenseman on the board, we'll see if we start seeing more go, or because it's a 10 team, or maybe people wait a little bit. I've got 3. So we all, and if you've been watching the previous mock drafts, you know who I target at that D4. So we'll see if I can get him by waiting. Yuri Slavkovsky, Kevin Fiala, next 2 picks there, a couple of left wingers. Bant back on the clock here. I got to start looking at who's available. I'd certainly mind getting him. Let's see who else is there. That's another guy I'm okay with. There's a few guys coming up here that I'd very much be okay with, depending upon how the board goes. There goes Tom Wilson.
There it is.
Ian on the clock here, taking Adam Fantilli the previous round. See if we can, and he takes Kirill Marchenko, so he's going to go back-to-back Blue Jackets there. And Marchenko is that's another one around this time of the draft, but that might be one at the end of the year. You're like, wow, I got him in round 10, 11, whatever the case may be. Keep an eye on him. There goes UC Saros. So, Chris, you're going to get your, second goaltender there?
I needed a second one. I found him. He's just lying around there on the floor. So,
and you were pumping his tires before. So, the 2 goalies you were talking up the most today, you grab them.
Listen, I've been digging into their past, seeing if I can help them with their demons.
Valery Nichushkin goes there. The guy can just stay on the active roster the whole season. Sky's the limit.
He is. He's in a great spot to succeed too.
I will be very happy if this guy gets to. Not you.
Bob might be checking out your list.
I don't know. It was not Zach Hyman.
Okay.
I got one more pick. So there was 2 guys I was going to take here. He was one of them.
Oh, well, I guess it wasn't coming back to me then.
I mean, listen, in a 10-team league, Charlie McAvoy is your 4th defenseman. Oh, baby. But that's not going to be the case here. But I'm going to milk the clock a little bit just so I can figure out what I'm doing with my other pick here. First of all, this is the other guy I'd be very happy to get. Dylan Holloway, center left wing position eligibility, gets hits. Really came on strong last year in St. Louis. I'd expect bigger things for him this year. See for. All right, this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to get. Speaking of cast-off points, I want to get my 4th defenseman locked in. Give me Devin Taves.
That makes sense.
There are other guys I'd be happy to grab. Did I snipe anybody this time, or is it okay? But was Devin Taves the pick for anybody, or did I make it through this round without pissing anybody off? Looks like I did. And Thatcher Demko goes there. So there we go. So goalie 2s, goalie 3s starting to go here. Definitely worth some consideration as we at midway through the 12th round, and got about 4.5 rounds to go here.
I had a little bit of exposure to him once upon a time.
I mean, I if you want me to pick, I don't think people want to see me pick my nose state of survival. I mean, every once in a while you get one you got to go in and get, but nobody wants to see it. Carter Verhaeghe, we talked about, and that's the direct impact of the Kachuk injury is that is some great value there if you're getting Verhaeghe late. I'm we'll probably see his ADP climb a little bit in the next week and a half here. Great pick.
Also, very nice to have 50% of the Long Island fan base here with us today. Very
I know. I'm excused this round. Whew. All right.
This round, but take a sip because.
Let's see here. And on the clock here, he takes Pavel Buchnevich. You talk about position eligibility. That's what that guy brings.
You do.
One of the few across the board guys like a Seth Jarvis, at least at forward. Vince Dunn goes there to Zach here. There's been a good draft. I'm pretty happy with my team. I mean, I said that last week, and then I got really upset at how my last round pick, the last couple of rounds of picks went, but we'll see. So Eric Carlson, Gabe Velarde, Jordan Binnington opens up round 13, pick 111. As Nate comes back on the clock here. See what he does. He got Carlson with his last pick. He's got both Carlsons. He's got John and Eric Carlson on his blue line.
At least they're not spelt the same way, so he can distinguish which one is which.
It's quite the law firm, Carlson and Carlson.
You think they're injury lawyers?
I mean, natural for defensemen to be injury lawyers, I would think. Barzal and Kadri go in there. Kadri, strong, value there towards the 13th round. And Ant he does get one of his guys. He gets Luke Hughes. There goes Quentin Byfield. Certainly a lot of picks that are very strong here as we get to the 13th round. Chris, of course, takes Demidov. He's not waiting any longer on that guy.
It's that time of year, man. Lock in. Rookie of the year right there. A little earlier than I'd like, but I understand how these drafts work.
Let's see if I get sniped here. I have not been sniped yet. Famous last words. Neil Pionk goes. All right. Let's get some more Ranger representation here. I cannot believe Vinny Trocheck's going this late in most drafts. Like, it just boggles my mind. I'm not saying he should be top 10 rounds, but like the fact that you can get him in the teens blows my mind.
I just put him on the queue list too.
And you know what? I'm going to take another guy that you're probably not going to be happy that I'm taking.
Yeah, you're right. That's not, nah. You know what? If Bob's not going to push you, I will. It's inexcusable.
So, all right. So, just around the last few picks since Demidov, Pavel Dorofiev, Zane Parik, Neil Pionk. I take Vinny Trocheck to close out round 13. Joel Eriksson to open round 14. Kochetkov goes to Andy. Then Samuel Montembeau and Mika Zibanejad. Matt Duchene to Chris there.
I'll take a chance there. Duchene really outperformed his ADP last year. I don't think he'll get close there, but with Jamie Benn now needing some time to pick his lung up, well, we'll see how that goes.
I know what positions I'm targeting with my last two picks. We'll see what happens, because that could be where I get mad. That could be where I get sniped. But we shall see. As we are halfway through round 14 here. Eriksson opened up the 14th round, followed by Kochetkov, Montembeau, Zibanejad, Duchene, Morgan Riley. Ant gets Matthew Schaefer there, so back-to-back blue line picks for him. That could be a lot of offense there if Schaefer gets some quality power play time.
Now New Jersey's just got to figure out how they're going to sign Luke Hughes. Everybody's worried about Quinn Hughes and where he's going. I mean, it doesn't seem like the Devils and Hughes camp are even close to whatever number they want to agree on.
Wouldn't that be the ultimate heel turn? Instead of all three like going to New Jersey, they find some random third team. It's not going to be Vancouver, clearly. They find some random third team where they all just go there.
They all hang out in Montreal, man. Great place to be. Fantastic city.
We would never hear the Slapshot podcast. That would be the topic for like a month straight. So after Schaefer, Brian Rust, Logan Cooley, Gustav Forsling to close out round 14, Dylan Strome to open round 15. As we are entering the final two rounds here, we'll recap this draft and wrap things up on this edition of Total Hockey Now. Don't forget, folks, while we're filling some time here, because this 10-team draft is taking as long as like a 12-teamer or a 14-teamer. Saturday night, 8 o'clock Eastern, 5 o'clock Pacific. We are doing our league draft, so you're going to have some college football on. Maybe you got Oregon, Penn State on. Throw us on, too. As Steven Stamkos goes to Zach after Cole Perfetti. Ant's on the clock now with his penultimate pick.
This is the strongest I've ever drafted goalies, I'm going to say.
Karel Vejmelka. There we go. So he's got Vejmelka. So he goes Ottinger, Vasilevsky, and then basically ignores it to round 15. Smart move there. Got a strong 1-2-3 down the middle.
He was there for the taking. It was either going to be, I think either way I would have made out well, because I had Dostal on queue as well. Askarov and Greaves. So
here's where I might kick myself a little bit. We'll see what's available to me. We'll see what happens here. As Chris, if I know who he's probably going to take here.
No, I wanted Stamkos, so that's not happening.
Cam Fowler. There we go. So that's a guy that I like to take as my defenseman 4, even a bench defenseman. Chris getting him. He's going to be running that power play more than likely in St. Louis.
I wanted Stamkos for his triple position eligibility, but apparently Zach had other ideas.
Other guy with trip position eligible.
Trip position eligibility, and it's not like he forgot how to score goals.
All right, so after Fowler, Doughty, Prakel. Damn it! I was sniped. Philip Hronek, that's my guy. Damn it!
Wait, which one was it? Hronek or Parenko?
Hronek for sure. I love Cole. Yeah, I mean, maybe I'm not as upset because I don't like having the same D pairing. All right, let's do the first things first here. I pumped his tires enough as my goalie 3. Give me Dostal. I know Jet Greaves is there, but we'll see. I got to take a defenseman with my last pick here. And you know what? I'm inspired by Ant going upside with Hughes and especially Schaefer. So give me Zeev Boyum. See if he runs that power play in Minnesota. He ends up not doing it in a 10-team league. I can maybe get a good defenseman off the waiver wire to be my bench defenseman. There we go. Tyler Seguin, Joey Decord. See if either of those picks sniped anybody here. As Steven's on the clock with his last pick, he takes Stu Skinner. Do it. Take Jet Greaves. He doesn't. He takes his other famous last round pick, Lafreniere.
Yeah.
No Jet Greaves.
Just trying to see. I mean, I'm still praying for Lafreniere to be on that top power play unit, preferably the top line as well. But
you hope for that probably as much as anybody else, including like Lafreniere's family.
Probably. I would love it. That'd be kind of cool. From a fantasy perspective.
That's a good one. You don't see that. You see that towards the end of the draft. That's a very feast or famine pick there. That's one that can have a very high upside. Brock Nelson, people, he's a second line center in Colorado. There's nothing wrong with that.
Got to have some, stock in Colorado as well in that offense.
Jake Wallman, full season in Edmonton, should have improved numbers versus starting the season with San Jose last year. Enjoyed watching him while they had him up at the deadline. 2 picks to go here. Nate takes Ryan Nugent-Hopkins, center left wing eligibility. And then who got that last pick? It never shows up.
Sam Bennett.
Sam Bennett. Okay, so the Conn Smythe winner going last pick overall here. All right, so let's run through the 3 teams here. Chris, why don't you lead us off?
Yeah, so listen, Cale Makar, Jack Eichel just seems it seems like a gift, right? It seems like that's as close as I can get to perfection. So we did that. Evan Bouchard, I mean, Edmonton is going to rely heavily on their power play still. 2 of my 3 picks being defensemen, not disappointed about that at all. I took Philip Gustafsson early. Again, I think he's going to have a good year. I wanted to take the upside there. There were other players in there that I wanted, but once Tage Thompson went off the board, I knew a little bit where I was going. Mackenzie Weegar is going to be good. Now, the run of defenseman there kind of got me here. I was like, I can't wait, or he's not going to make it back to me. There were other names that I thought maybe I would have wanted to take there, Celebrini or Kempe being one. I got neither. Connor Bedard, I was kind of convinced by you, Adam, that it was a good idea, and I still got Nico Hischier. So all in all, it worked out. Then I needed some wings, some flats. So Jordan Kyrou, Nikolai Ehlers, Dylan Gunther, guys who got upside, guys who could score. Ehlers seems to be playing on the top line. He seems to be getting the opportunities that everybody wants him to get. So I'm really, hoping he can stick there and that they leave him there for a little bit. UC Saros, I mean, I got to bank on a little bit of upside here. There were goalies that were going off the board after him. I kind of feel like everybody else is just kind of even, so it doesn't matter. Carter Verhaeghe, this is a direct impact to Matthew Tkachuk being out for a minute. Verhaeghe can score goals, and he sometimes gets forgotten in Florida. I think if he can get those top line minutes, top power play minutes, he's going to be just fine. Ivan Demidov is going to win Rookie of the Year. There's never a bad idea to have a player who can score goals. Then Matt Duchene. Matt Duchene had a really great year. Now, again, with JB Ben being out due to the collapse long, I feel like maybe Dallas will count on him even more. I think he's still going to get those top power play units, opportunities, even if Rupe Hintz is the center there. Duchene also has wing eligibility. I like it. Cam Fowler looked really good coming over in St. Louis. I don't know what he's going to bring, but he looks to be quarterbacking that top unit. That's all I care about. And then Alexis Lafreniere is a staple at the end of the draft. He's just there, and I'm just hoping and praying to the hockey gods that those power play minutes come.
One thing that I thought was crazy is like you start with the draft board here, and this scattered purple, and then after Omar is picked, nothing for about 2.5 rounds, almost 3 rounds till Saros goes. So, you waited and it paid off there, even though maybe you wanted something a little bit better. like you said, you're banking on the bounce back potential. Now, Ant opens up with Nikita Kucherov, and then Ottinger, Vasilevsky. That kind of dictated the rest of your draft right there.
Yeah, I've been wanting Kucherov for a while, since last year. I haven't got him in any drafts, so let me put myself fourth, and it'd either be between him and Makar. So I decided let's go Kucherov this time around. Like you mentioned, I was torn between Vasilevsky and Ottinger, but I went with the younger Ottinger in the whole picture, and somehow Vasilevsky came back around and said, "You know what? Let me knock out my goalies now. I wouldn't have to worry about it until later on for a third." So I went that way. Took the veteran in Crosby. Defense is super young with Lane Hudson. Chikrin's probably the oldest one on that group. Then you got Lacombe, Hughes, and Schaefer. I think it's a nice young defensive core there. We'll see how it turns out, if there's any sophomore slumps for Lane Hudson or anything like that. But I'm good with that. And then Scheifele. Alex DeBrincat, I think, is underrated, and I took him for left wing. Paterka gives me, I think, dual eligibility. I don't think it shows up on here, but I got him as well. Tom Wilson for right wing, I like. Bushnevich, I've been liking in drafts because he has triple eligibility. And then, obviously, we come back to Vizmelka right there, and I thought that him not being taken was a blessing for me. But I ended with Brock Nelson, had a little bit of a veteran presence there, and I wanted a little piece of Colorado.
There you go. Listen, Brock Nelson definitely been getting overlooked in drafts, but if you need a center to fill out the bottom of your roster, you could definitely do a lot worse there. What stats are being reported? This is going to be your typical head-to-head banger league. So you got the hits involved. And in the Yahoo mocks, they don't count faceoffs won. I drafted my mocks like faceoffs matter, because most leagues you're going to have faceoffs won if you're going to have a center position. So this is just your standard stock Yahoo format. And then for my draft here, I love that picking at that swing, whether it's the 10 spot, the 12 spot, even the 14 spot. But in 14 team drafts, that can get dicey if you wait too long on something. I'm always going to take Rantanen at 10 if he's there, with certain exceptions. Quinn Hughes, I'm very happy. I'm very happy out of the gate here with my first 5 picks, just from a fantasy perspective and a rooting perspective. Actually, we'll call it the first 6 picks right there. Now, I was a little worried when I didn't grab that second defenseman and took Kempe instead, but it ended up paying off for me because, Sanderson went, Harley went. I would have taken Harley, but Sanderson's a guy I'm not big on, only because, Thomas Chabot can eat into his time at any time. And then Chikrin again, too. Shea Theodore, fine, but with Sergachev sitting there for me. And then again, I get Logan Thompson. Very happy with that as my goalie too. And Seth Jones was another guy I was considering there. I'm like, he's not going to get back to me if I take Thompson here, but that's fine. I can live with it in a 10-team format. Lo and behold, there goes Dobson, Lacombe, Hamilton, and I get Seth Jones as my defenseman 3. And I'm happy with my blue line no matter what happens there, even with my little outburst at the end on Hronek. But nonetheless, that Hurdle. One of the many times that I was sniping there, getting him in the 10th round, very happy with that. And then Dylan Holloway, center left wing eligibility. Devin Taves closes out my starting defenseman. And then, just Trocheck and Eriksson Ek, 2 guys that are top line centers for their respective teams that play with guys who are going to put the puck in the net like Panarin and Kaprizov, respectively. Sure. Give me those guys. And then, I am so big on Dostal this year as a goalie 3. And I wasn't happy to not get Hronek, but I'll take Aziz Boyum. And if that doesn't work out, there's still decent defensemen available there in a 14 format. So there you go.
Is it safe to say that center is the most deep, has the most depth, right? I feel like you can still get, later on, like look at Thomas Hurdle falling all the way to 10 there. He had a good season for me last year. One of my top point getters, getting him all the way at 10. I feel like that's a good deal right there for you.
Center left wing eligible.
Go even further back for others. Nazem Kadri is a great pick down there. Quentin Byfield's a great pick down there. I mean, Buchnevich, you have multiple position eligibility. I'm big, Steven Stamkos is where you at that point in the draft is great. He's got triple position eligibility. You're probably not starting him at center, but yes, this was a good draft for a lot of center options, which is probably true in a 10-team league. You can get some good value if you wait on C if you want to.
Yes, and that's the thing. Like we've talked about this before. Like just to go, like you're not going to pass up an Austin Matthews. Like obviously you're going to take a guy like that there. And in the second round, there's still center eligible guys like Jack Eichel, or center only eligible guys. Obviously, if they can play the wing, that changes things. But like Braden Point, Jack Eichel, Crosby, you're okay with those guys. Center only, Scheifele even. But then after Scheifele, you can kind of wait on. We'll say even Hischier. After that, as long as you have one of those guys as your top center, kind of wait, fill out your other positions. Because when you get to the back ends of the draft, there's going to be a lot of defensemen and wings that you're like, oh, I got to take this guy, I guess. You're not going to feel that way, that kind of way about the centers that are available to you.
No, that makes sense. Who was Team 5? Was that any of us?
That was not us. Let's put that back on the stage quickly before we get to the draft lottery. That was Kaprizov, Connor, Boldy right out of the
Kaprizov and Boldy. You're right. That was the best team. Stop.
Yeah. Morrissey. Wow.
Yeah, that was a good draft.
That's a strong draft there.
That team will never see the day, never see daylight. But anytime you start with Kirill and then 2 picks later, you get Boldy. You're right. That's great. That's fantastic.
Great observation. Good stuff. Now we got one more thing we got to do quick before we wrap things up. Is we got the draft lottery for Saturday. There it is, folks. I went out and got a bingo thing online, as I play with the stupid layouts here to get it right. There we go. My wife thought I was having an affair with a senior citizen because I bought one bingo thing and it didn't work, so that I returned that and then got this one. And she's like, "Why are you buying bingo machines?" So I did have to, answer that was for the draft lottery. Basically, what we're going to do is it's going to go 12-1 here. Let me bring up the draft board here so we can get that in order. Things we do to get this going here. Who are this year's sleep?
If this draft is, I will say if I don't win, it's rigged. Just the same way the draft lottery is rigged in the NHL. Same thing.
This went in order of how we finished last season, correct?
Right. So let's get that up on the screen. It would help if I did that. So this is not going to work as well as I thought it was in terms of the layout. But we'll see what we can do here. All right. So that, and then I'll put the board. Ant's got the board in the background. We'll move that up there. So alternate between the boards. We'll do that.
Do you want me to copy and paste over, or?
Yeah. So the number that comes out. So if the first number to come out is the number 2, Bros before Ahos would go to 12, and then so on and so forth. All right. So the first number's out. Let's wheel that down.
Ooh.
Out away from me. That would have been fun. So the person in the 7th slot right there, they'll be picking 12th. That's going to be Max Knight. They are picking 12th.
Oh, so it goes the opposite. Oh, so you don't want your number to come out.
No, you want to be the last one out.
Oh, that makes sense.
This way. Right here.
This is a fine investment right here.
$20 on Amazon. Team 12. Did you just fart?
So now he's picking 11. Keep your eyes on that, Chris. Make sure.
I am watching attentively.
Number 11. That's Andrew Hurst.
Going in at number 10, who moves up a spot.
I need to.
Come on, something's got to get in the thing. Come on. Oh, 1 came out. 2 came out. Oh boy.
2 came out. Oh man. All right.
This was the first one to come out. It was number 3.
That's Chris.
See? Immediately rigged. Immediately
drafting
rigged.
at number 9, so we know what's not coming his way.
Number 5 after that.
Silver Fox. Right before him, so that's gonna be a lot of
before me.
A lot of sniping happening.
I'm not getting any of the guys I want.
All that good karma from your last couple of mocks just out.
Oh man, I'm not getting a single one, am I?
Come on, man, getting the freaking ball, getting the wheel well.
I think you gotta spin a little faster. Yeah.
Something's coming out. Oh, there we go.
There we go. We got one. There we go. We got one.
Number 9.
That's me.
Get this back in the frame here.
Where does that put you, Ann? Where is that
7.
pick? 7?
7.
You're right on the cusp. You're right on the cusp there.
That's tough. It's a tough one. Yep.
Oh, man, I'm so sad.
The pipe. There we go. 7.
7.
Didn't we already have 7?
That other number.
Yeah, Max Knights was 7. So we
Yeah,
have 2.
Do you have 2 7s?
Oh.
You don't have
1. So that's me. So I should be picking 12. So it's definitely not.
Wait, so
put me in 12 and Mac Knight.
Oh, that was 1. Oh.
Yes.
Oh, so it's there you go. So Adam, you're drafting and exactly where you want to draft on the turn. It's basically like you won.
In hindsight, yes.
Wow.
All right, coming down. Number 4, it looks like. Let's see.
is it 4?
4.
Okay. That's Gene Bez Kaprizov, so we know he's getting Kaprizov.
So number 4 is Kaprizov. That we've established.
Yep.
All right, the one that just out number 6. So that's going to be Chris Wassel, Jersey Pizza and Pork Roll.
He is drafting number 4.
Okay, we are down to our top 3. Up out of here.
This is the best investment.
I know. It's time consuming too. Number 8.
Number 8 is Wally G.
Wally.
Right.
Nice.
Is number 3.
All right. This is the battle between McDavid and McKinnon. There we go.
All right.
Number 10.
Oh,
So who do we have left? It's just between Frank and Josh Wagner.
is going to be picking second. So that
Wow. What a day for my
brother's
brother.
watching.
Damn.
Wow.
Ant's brother won. So is it rigged? Not really.
I can't get it out.
So does it matter then?
That's number 2. It's pros before Aho. So there we go. So there's your
Wow.
draft. order.
Good job,
There
Frank.
you go. Well done, Frank. There you
There
go.
we go.
There we go. So that's how they finished last year on the left. This is the pick order on the right. There we go.
So we know Adam is very happy.
I am
That little switch over from
definitely the most sad. I'm definitely the most sad at 9.
that little switch over that was a 7 that became a 1 now.
Yeah.
Listen, the evidence is on the tape. It was misread, but I showed it. Believe me.
Wow. The minute we heard 2 7s, we're like, okay.
No, I double check. I'm like, did I do 7s? I'm like, no, it's just a fudged out 1, but it's still a 1. So there we go.
Chris's nightmare has been absolutely realized.
The worst possible outcome has come, which is drafting
9
far enough that I won't get Kaprizov or Makar, and Craig Silver Fox being in front of me. That's there is no worse outcome than this. There's not.
So
Wow.
Craig is going to snipe you one way, and then I'm probably going to snipe you the other way.
This is just the worst possible.
Yeah.
How I feel this will go for me. It's all that prep and see. I told you the draft was rigged in some capacity.
He says, "Stay survival with some cheap." So listen, if you want to get like a real deal, like bingo or lottery machine, like those are hundreds of dollars. This is like a $25 equivalent. That's what the budget is for Total Hockey Now. So yeah, not Ally Express. This was actually Amazon, but yes, this is
You could send us a Venmo Cash App, and we'll put it into the draft lottery fund.
Yeah, if you want like a real deal one for like next year, like like the NBA draft lottery balls or whatever, then yes, let us.
Do you think we could? You think we could borrow the one the NHL uses? Do you think if we write them an email, be like, "Hey, can we borrow your draft lottery?"
Yeah, you don't use it till the spring. We're going to use it in September. So like,
and tell them we only need 12 numbers. That's it.
Yeah.
And we'll let Gary or Bill Daly do it, or whoever is in there, the intern, and that's it.
Send us money, and we'll get a better machine next year. That's how that works. Nonetheless, tried to do something fun rather than do this, the random number generator.
You did fantastic.
Yeah.
That was great.
Yeah.
Even though I suffered the most.
Yeah, that was really worth the $25.
Watching my pain was definitely worth 25 US too. That's like 800 Canadian basically.
Well,
So.
Chris, you'll always have Kaprizov and Makar in these mock drafts. So
Oh well, I'll have them in my heart though. I'll never be able to acquire them. Never.
If you want more of Chris being upset, Slapshot Podcast is a good source for that.
That's definitely it. You can come hang out, like, subscribe, rate. You can this Monday we're gonna do some stuff. Can't tell you yet, but you should probably watch it.
Even we don't know, so this has got to be.
We're gonna do some stuff, and I'll also be doing some live mock drafts. We're gonna hang out. I find time from now until beginning of the season, some live stream mock drafts. We can just hang out, drink adult beverages, watch the Leafs lose and stuff like that, and go through like 7 or 8 mock drafts at once.
Depending upon when you're doing that, I may have to join you.
There you go. We'll be up late on the East Coast, so that's like prime time for those who.
Yeah, I may have to jump in on this.
There you go. We can all hang out here. Yeah.
And how are we feeling about the Mets here?
Yeah,
last playoff spot on the line. Diamondbacks and Reds nipping at your heels.
Well, folks, Sunday is going to be very interesting because 2 things are going to happen. Either this is going to be a post-mortem type episode on Sunday, or there'll be probably 2 episodes coming, and one of them will be a recap of the week, and the second one will be a preview of their series, which I think would be against the Los Angeles Dodgers. So kind of a rematch from last year, but in the wild card series. So I'm hoping for the latter. I'm hoping that we get a little bit of playoffs, but if they don't, it's going to be 2 quick episodes of a post-mortem and a nice month off because I need a break from baseball. I really do.
Who worries you more, the Reds or the D-backs? Which one are you more concerned about?
I think the Diamondbacks worry me more because I know that they want a little bit of revenge from last year. We only beat them by percentage points to get into the postseason because we took the season series. The Reds just had an amazing victory today. In the 9th inning, a robbed home run that they did to win their game. So they're in it to win it. The Mets, we'll see if they're in it to win it because we just keep blowing games and the pitching staff is awful and they're just backing their way in. And it's been very disappointing to watch.
And it's not a bad omen at all that you're closing against the Marlins. Nothing's ever bad has ever happened to the Mets in a closing series of the year.
No, they have specifically lined up their 3 best pitchers for this weekend series. They know what they're doing, and I'm pretty sure that they're ready to rip us apart.
The Marlins do that very well. They do know how to get to the Mets. That's one thing they do.
Since 2007.
28 years in the making.
Yeah.
Or 18 years in the making, if I could do math properly. Rip and Riff is going to be coming up again on Monday, where myself and Mr. Jared Moore, we talk a little bit of the previous Sunday's storylines. We give out a 3-pick parlay for the upcoming week and rip some cards and have a good time. Plenty of football and baseball there, and hockey right around the corner. We'll be working that in too. So, folks, this has been a jam-packed edition of Total Hockey Now. We very much appreciate whether you're watching live or whether you're watching on a replay later. Please follow the show at Total Hockey Now. Reach out to the show anytime at totalhockeynow@gmail.com. But we're at FuzzyChris91 and at Antivera86. I am at Fucking Thoughts, Adam Bernard. We'll see you Saturday night, special edition of Total Hockey Now for our league draft, 8 o'clock Eastern, 5 o'clock Pacific. Watch Chris in the misery. That'll start at approximately 8:15 Eastern. For those fellas over there, I'm Adam. Talk to you soon.